With your perspective in your landscape painting, you do need to know just a bit about perspective so that your buildings are in perspective and things like your fences disappear away at the right angle and your roads get narrower as they go away from you and your rivers and your water gets narrow as it goes away from you. We're not going to talk about tones in perspective here, we're going to talk about the perspective drawing, the actual structure. So we'll have a look at a cottage. One thing is very important is the horizon line. The horizon line is the line where your eye is, the level. And why it's important to be level is that most buildings are built level. Most of them, the roof is square. Most of them are square. And also water is perfectly level. It finds its own level automatically. So what we call the horizon line is you're looking straight out level. So
hey, what's going on, guys? Making another how to draw video. So I already showed you guys how to draw the beach sky, so now I need to show you how to draw the actual ocean and the sand. So water lines are typically extremely flat, so I use a yardstick or a ruler to draw the ocean. Then the beach doesn't need to be as flat, you could just draw a line. Doesn't matter. It's no big deal. Okay, so
we're going to complete a measured perspective of this simple house shape. Now, first thing we want to do is draw in the ground line. That's going to be the basis for the elevation views. So the ground line goes on first, and after we've done the ground line, we're going to put on the picture plane line. Now, once we've got that picture plane line in, what we want to do then is think about the horizon line. Now, we've got a horizon line above the house shape, which means we're looking down on it. So from the eye level line, we're just going to draw a line straight across with the horizon line that our vanishing points will be placed on. So that's the horizon line. Once we've completed that, we're going to draw the plan, which will be touching the picture plane. Now we can do that at 60 degrees, 30 degrees, or we're actually going to be doing it for this particular drawing at 45 degrees. So we've got the plan drawn there, and that's the way we start the drawing, with the plan. Now, next thing we need to do is we need to get some heights on. For that, we're going to draw an elevation. Now I'll just put the block on end on here, and that will give us the heights that we need. And there we've got the elevation. The next step is to think about where the station point is. Now, the station point is where the observer is positioned when they're looking at the view of the block. So I'm going to position the station point here, and for accuracy we need to mark it. We'll mark it with an exact point with a cross. Now, the station point we draw parallel to the block, and this is at 45 degrees. And then what we can do is project down where that touches the picture plane onto the horizon line, which will give us the first vanishing point on the right hand side there. And we'll just mark that in more accurately as well for when we do the perspective drawing. And also the vanishing point on the left, and again just mark that on more accurately as well. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to draw from the station point to the main points in the block or the house shape, and mark where those points go through the picture plane, because what we're actually doing is we're drawing the view that the observer sees on the picture plane, which will be demonstrated shortly. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to project down from the first part of the block, the leading edge, which is touching the picture plane, and we can get the heights off that. So I'm just projecting across the height of the building, or the block, and the height where the wall starts touching the roof. Then from there I'm going to draw from the vanishing point. Those are the heights of that wall leading off to the left, and the heights leading off to the right as well. Okay, next thing to do, I'm going to project down from the picture plane where the back wall is located. Then what I'm going to do after that is project the height over to the right, and then I can get where the point on the roof is, again projecting down from the picture plane, not from the actual plan. So what I can do now is I can darken in that end of the house that gives us that detail. So again, we've got the heights that are being projected back, and then I can just finish off that detail with the slope of the roof. Now projecting back, we've got the point now, so we can project that back, and then we can take the point at the very back of the roof there as well, projecting down again from where the detail is on the picture plane, and finally finishing off the detail just in darker pen so that it's easier to see on screen. And that's pretty much it for completing a view like this. This of course is called a perspective elevation. Right, just to recap what we've been doing, let's go back and look at the observer looking from the station point. And what the observer is doing is looking at this block here, and I just want to go over the fact that the picture plane, the imaginary plane, sits vertically in front of the plan like that, and the observer looking at the picture plane, what he sees is what we've just drawn, which is that perspective elevation of the block.
Blue crimson. I don't know what that red's doing there. I was going to use it. I'll use it later. Okay, boat. Not dead center. Let's put the biggest boat here. Now, and the reflection of the biggest boat there. Well, that's about the right size. I'll tell you why. If you were standing on the boat, your eye would be level with the eye of anybody on there because the water's flat. So if you put your boat down here, it means that you're looking down on the boat because you can see the water behind it. But I want to look straight at there as if I'm standing on the shore on this side, looking across there at those buildings, and there is the boat. So anybody standing on a boat in that water will have their eye level exactly level with my eye level. All the water's level, all the eye levels are level because all the boats are level, and it's a level with the bank on the other side. So if you put your boat down here, it's got to be a huge boat to put a person on so high that their eye is there. So let's have that boat about that size, and if it was a little boat, say that size, it'll have to be back there. And if it was a littler boat, a little tiny weeny boat, it'll have to be up there so the person's eye is level there. Anyway, let's put that boat there, another one here.
Hi, I'm Ted. I'm going to show you how I use this clear plastic hose to find my perfect level marks. Now, as you can see, when I put these two together, they're always going to find their level spot. Water will naturally seek a level if it's allowed to. The important thing to remember with this type of a level is you don't want to have any kinks in it. There can't be any bubbles. Make sure no one's stepping on it. Now, this one's only a few feet long, but this will level out. Whether it's 2 feet or 100 foot of hose, it's going to seek its level. I have a couple 6x6 posts right here. I've put a mark and driven a couple set nails in on this side. I'm going to put my level in there, and we're just going to come up and adjust it until it hits the mark that I want to copy. Then we're going to come over here on this side, make a mark with our pencil and square, get us a line. Now it's level from both sides. Check it real quick. Bring it down until it's on the mark. Works every time. And it's a lot cheaper than a transit. Transits are very delicate instruments and don't do well if they're in the back of a pickup truck with a bunch of other tools. They can get damaged easily. Also, if it's moisture environment and they get wet, they'll fog up, at which point they're useless and they're very expensive. This hose is fairly cheap, and again, it'll work with a 100-foot hose or a 2-foot hose. The principle is the same.